Good evening. Thank you, Master of Ceremonies, for that kind introduction. Wasn't that homegrown entertainment good? Let's give him another hand. Let's give him another hand. Sitting next to the deputy leader, he tells me, he says, that's one of my constituents. Well done, Derek. Hope you got him signed up. Premier, deputy leader, members of the upper and lower houses, party chairman, members of the executive, delegates, party members, supporters, and friends. 48 hours ago, I sat in the auditorium of the Dalton E. Tucker School and had the privilege of listening to a team of confident and young rising stars from within this party. That performance should certainly put paid to the lie often stated that our members are a group of sheep being led in their thinking. They were wild. This progressive Labour Party is a great party, made up of different individuals, with each bringing their own strengths, adding further depth and variety to an already all-star cast. The PLP has a great future. We are in good hands. To my fellow candidates, Mackay, John, Senator Diallo, and Lawrence, well done Monday evening. I wish you all the best in adding MP after your last names. It is indeed an honor for me this evening to be included on such a high-powered panel of speakers, whom I have heard described as the elder statespersons of the party. I would simply say that these are persons whom I have much respect for and who have paid their dues to this great progressive Labour Party. I wish to thank the executive for the opportunity given to me to join them in speaking this evening. I also wish to thank the executive for the bold move of again taking the conference to the public. The public want to hear from us as leaders. I did not have much of a clue as to what I wanted to share with you this evening until I consulted with the Chief Operations Officer of the Tyrrell family, who, without taking a breath, gave me a smile and said, just tell them sincerely why you continue to support the party. So that's what I'm here to do tonight. Thank you to the Tyrrell COO. Hi, Sheila. Keeping within the theme of this year's conference, Standing Strong for Bermudians, I searched for what I thought would be a relevant quotation to get me started, and found the following in 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 13, and I quote, "Be on your guard, stand firm in the faith, be men of courage, be strong." With that scripture verse as my preamble, I will address several areas that will highlight the many accomplishments this government has achieved, show how we have positively touched the lives of thousands of Bermudians by having these programs in place. They are planned actions that strengthen our case as to why we should continue as the government. My question to you tonight is, what will you be doing to ensure that we are successful at the next general election? I ask that question for it appears that too many of us have now started to believe in our own hype, that we cannot lose the government for at least another 30 years. Well, we're not even halfway through that time frame, and our opponents seem more power hungry than ever before. So I say to you, now is the time for all good men and women to come to the aid of the party. For when the going gets tough, the tough get going. I, as a candidate, will continue working every day on the doorstep, as that is where the election will be won. I'm telling all the residents of Constituency 11 that there is a clear choice between myself and Bob Richards. Bob Richards has repeatedly told us that it has to be all about austerity. Austerity means deep and radical cuts to benefits, jobs, social programs, health care, and much more. But while he says it has to be all about austerity, he doesn't tell us what he's going to cut. He and his party are offering no ideas and no solutions. While they argue for austerity, we stand strong for investment in our people. It's during the worst global economic crisis since the Great Depression when our people need our investment the most. investment that will protect jobs, expand the social net with programs like future care and daycare, investment that will train our young people to access the jobs of tomorrow, and support for our businesses through programs like the Economic Empowerment Zone, EEZ. One of the main and compelling reasons I continue to support the Progressive Labor Party is our historical and continued effort in standing strong for Bermudians. The faithful believers in this party will already know that the lead anthem and theme of this election campaign, Standing Strong for Bermudians, is not something new to us, because our founding members came together expressly for that purpose. In 1963, they saw no need to wait any longer for someone else to come along and make the required changes. Their efforts during the 1960s reminded me of quotations I read by President Obama, and these were made prior to him becoming president. And I quote, "Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. If you are walking down the right path and you are willing to keep walking, eventually you will make progress." Unquote. Our founding members came together at a time when it was most unpopular to go against the norms of the day. I'm sure they had many objectives, but they stood strong and set the pace for us to follow. I still believe in and support the principal vision on which the Progressive Labor Party was founded. That is, to fight for social equality and justice for those persons less fortunate than oneself, and for those persons without the voice and the ability to present their own case. I am confident that the Progressive Labor Party, having stood up for what is right in the past, is still the only party that will ensure that this vision of standing strong for Bermudians is not just lip service, but a priority for governing all the people of Bermuda. The combined opposition, as we now know them, and the talk show naysayers, will have us believe that a Progressive Labor Party government has been the sole cause of all manner of things negative that have taken place in Bermuda since 1998. They have not and will not give us any credit for the introduction of the many services that have enhanced the lives of our people. Programs that have provided opportunities ranging from assisting the youth with operations like Mirrors, to initiatives that assist our seasoned and treasured seniors with the implementation of future care. I took the time to read through the vast list of accomplishments achieved by our Progressive Labor government over the last 14 years, and there are copies available so that you can look for yourself. And I'll very briefly highlight some of the initiatives. The preparation of a national health plan, a new hospital master plan, which included building a new hospital, the daycare program, which makes child care more affordable, improvements, as I indicated, with the EEZ in North Hamilton, and now the creation of EEZs in the east and west ends of the island, creation of Job Corps for the youth, establishment of the hustle truck, reduced class sizes in early primary years, the building of approximately 300 new affordable housing units throughout the island, and most recently, the upgrading to the Purvis Park and Sylvia Richardson senior residences. Ladies and gentlemen, I've only highlighted a dozen of the several hundred initiatives and services undertaken by our government, accomplishments that we should all be proud of. We should be shouting these accomplishments from the rooftops. All of these activities have been designed to provide opportunities and to create fairness for all Bermudians. We need to celebrate this government for considering programs that stand strong for us. This Progressive Labor Party government has addressed real issues that have helped to make major differences in the lives of many of our people. An area that seldom gets its deserved recognition is this government's tireless efforts in improving public education. Contrary to popular belief, it is an area that has been given serious attention by this government. The belief that private education is best is really a myth, because whether people provide private or public education for their children, one of the many strengths of the success of public education really comes from each child having strong parental support. Our government encourages this parental support and has given further support to education by introducing such things as the reduction of class sizes in primary 1 to primary 3, introduction of the Cambridge curriculum to increase student standards, and vast improvements in its increases in the financial value of government scholarships for further education. Our public schools have improved, thanks to a government that truly cares for and values public education, making it available to all. One of the cost-cutting measures, or should I say austerity measures, that the combined opposition seem to be hinting at is a downsizing of the public and civil service personnel. They say that they are not going to replace public servants who retire. Think on this for a second. If a teacher retires, that means no replacement teacher. If a police officer retires, that means no replacement police officer. What if 20 teachers retire, or 20 police officers? If the OBA is to follow what they have said, that will mean a rise in class sizes again. It also means that fewer policemen on the beat. This would be a disaster for Bermuda. In order for government to provide the proper level of public services this country deserves and has become accustomed to, this has to be matched with the adequate number of talented personnel to provide and maintain that good service. Any downsizing of the public or civil service personnel should be a last resort for many obvious reasons, not to mention that doing so would not be acceptable to most people and the stakeholders. Of course we should, and we will continue to trim the fat in government and cut what is unnecessary where available. But we should not make cuts if it means that the education of our children and the safety of our people will be compromised. The revival of the economy is not just a government problem to resolve. Everyone has to play their part in getting the economy back on track. This is not the time for government, private sector, or us individually to completely draw in the purse strings. Many people, again being led by the combined opposition, are looking towards government solely to be the job creators and create opportunities to pull us out of the downturn in the economy. Yes, that is not an unlikely expectation, for governments should provide opportunities for people to find work and opportunities to improve their lifestyles. However, it is my opinion that with the correct government policies in place, private enterprise should bear a major part of the heavy lifting in order to see improvement in the economy. I therefore state again, we should all be thinking of ways to help to improve the economy. Let me move on to some of our canvassing experiences out in the field. My canvassing area, Devonshire East, constituency 11, is very broad-based in many ways, with a mixture of blue and white collar workers, black, white, Portuguese, young and old, rich and not so rich. It is representative of the wider Bermuda. With the exception to date of one door being slammed in our face whilst canvassing, most people have been very receptive to our visits. This encouraging reception has been amongst our known supporters and also those perceived as non-supporters. People are mostly concerned about us getting the economy back on track, jobs, and yes, whether we have spent wisely. After carefully listening to them, we have outlined the government's positions and responded adequately to all of those concerns. Overall, it has mainly been about reassuring them of our ability to govern for a further 5 years. On the doorsteps, I feel the voters' anxiety and pain. These are difficult times for us in Bermuda and many countries around the world. I understand the voters' desire for a quick fix, but the truth is, there is no magic solution that is going to solve all our problems immediately. It is going to take time and hard work by us as supporters, together with a government committed to standing strong for Bermudians in these tough economic times. During our canvassing, we have come across a small portion of younger voters, and some not so young, who have expressed their intent not to vote as they don't see it making a difference to them. This concern has hit me hard for several reasons, most especially when the record will show how close some of the races in several of the constituencies where, in 2007, on regaining my composure after hearing persons saying that they do not intend to vote, I remind them of the struggles of our forefathers who fought so long and hard for the right to vote, and how their involvement now could make a big impact on the end result at the next general election. I cannot express it any clearer. Getting persons out to vote is going to be absolutely critical in this next election, and each and every one of us will need to be committed to this cause. I have shared that canvassing experience with you not for personal reasons, but to show you that as a party, we have much work to do to make sure our supporters come out to the polls. We also have to make sure that that swing voter knows that a return of a progressive Labour Party government means a return of a group of caring people who understand the needs of our community and who are committed to standing strong for Bermudians. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this upcoming election will be special to me, for it is my desire to be an integral team player for this progressive, dynamic, and forward-thinking party. Of course, the election is not about me or any of the candidates that you see running for the Progressive Labour Party. This is about our future. This is about our children's future. We cannot put their future in the hands of a party that has provided no ideas and no solutions. The stakes are just too high, and we cannot turn back now. Let me repeat that. We cannot put their future in the hands of a party that has provided no ideas and no solutions. The stakes are just too high, and we cannot turn back now. I look forward to sharing in the responsibility that winning the next election will entail. In bringing this to a close, I will share one last quote with you. I guess you know I like quotes. This one from President John F. Kennedy. And I quote, "One person can make a difference, and everyone should try." I therefore encourage you to speak often and highly of the accomplishments of this government, and most of all, stand strong during this period leading up to the next election. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank you for your time given to listening to me and for your continued personal support. I again encourage you to spread the word of our accomplishments and good work. Do this within each of your constituencies so that it excites the voter to not only come out and vote, but to stand strong and vote for the Progressive Labour Party. PLP all the way, PLP. Thank you.